Has been far too long, ladies and gentlemen, but finally, the best series in sim racing returns for another evening of drama and tension. GPVWC Superlights is back as we head into the final third of this season. Hello and welcome to round 12 out of 16 here in GPVWC Superlights. We are heading to a track we all know and love, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, the Cathedral of Speed. And who will have the speed today? Only time will tell. You join myself, Ross McIntyre, with Fabian Jungbluth on the Cameraworks, and Carlos Martin back alongside us in the commentary box today. Carlos, great to have you here with us once again. Should be an interesting race, this one.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. The break was definitely too long. Well, 4 weeks is definitely a big one. This race, what can we expect? We can expect definitely a really feisty and fierce race. We will see fights all over the race, overtaking opportunities at all times, and definitely a lot of speed and a lot of braking, which is the track where it matters the most.
Absolutely. Speed is the aim of the game here, of course. Just hoping you've got enough engine power to keep it going, hoping that the drag doesn't come and stop your progress, should I say. So we'll wait and see who has got the pace coming through. We are almost getting ready to start in our qualifying session. And it'll be 44 laps of racing out there on the track. And we are actually starting our qualifying session in just a brief moment. Clock will be counting down for the green flag and the green light at the end of the pit lane. Last time out at Spa, a fantastic race. It was all about tyre management and strategy. Ultimately, Sandeep Singh took what he thought was a very unlikely victory, a masterful drive in very changeable conditions to nurse a very, very worn set of tyres home. This one, much less about strategy, I fear. Monza, a track not renowned for its tyre shredding capabilities. We are running the softest tyre compounds here this weekend, that being the C5s, the C4s, and the C3s, so a step softer than what we had at Spa a few weeks ago. We'll have to wait and see if strategy does come into it, what everyone is able to do going forwards. New engine in the number 42 car at Road to Formula Racing. That, of course, is Sandeep Singh's. No, it's not Sandeep Singh, sorry, should I say Alex Laho's. So, new engine for one of the Road to Formulas. Valet Esports, and 2 new engines there as well. Same with TTF Racing and Fusion Racing. Spark Racing, True North, Alpha Sierra, Red Ven and Chaos also following suit. Monza, it's a track where power is so crucial. Having a fresh motor in the back of your car can make a lot of difference around here, as we're following some of our drivers head now out into their private qualifying sessions. Martin Carlos alongside me in the commentary booth, if I was saying his name the wrong way around. Carlos, it's a tricky... It's not tricky, but it's a very strange track to do a private qualifying here at Monza. Because, of course, you want to have as much slipstream as you can get to better your own lap time. And now, in our qualifying sessions, because there is no slipstream to get, it can feel a bit awkward.
Well, yeah, I can definitely feel a bit awkward, but at least we avoid the shenanigans that we saw previously in F1, that we saw drivers not even driving the outlap, just waiting for the opportunity to have a shot. And definitely this also happens here in GPV. You get a massive boost of slipstream and DRS when you are behind someone. As we see Maxime Murillo finishing Sector 1, doing a 27.58 right now. It is 1.5 tenths faster from the current best Sector 1. And yeah, the speed is really important, although you want to have really the downforce here in the Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2 and the upcoming Ascari and Parabolica. So there is a bit of a balance in between the settings here, and obviously having a car in front, it visually can disturb someone. We see him doing 27.59 so far, and the fastest is also like 1.5 tenths faster. So Maxime is doing so far a good job, 3 tenths off only from P1 currently. That will put him in a really good spot at the end of this lap. Finishing Parabolica, getting really tight at the end. You can push the tire a lot there, and finishing the lap for a 21.86. So yeah, 21.86, and Vincent Gatt goes P1 for now with a 21.76, and as we see Joseph Horlock taking now P1. So 21.5 right now the mark, as we saw in practice being the best lap time 21.2. Maybe we can see a slightly better lap time, as we see here Alex going for a second attempt on this special Road to Formula livery. It reminds me from a certain F1 team, doesn't it?
Well, I say we leave that one for the folks at home to decide if that's a special livery or not. Of course, here at Monza, it's a special track.
Some nice stickers. Some nice, really stickers. Right to F. I think I saw a TOP one on the side. I'm not biased, but that's a really nice sticker as well.
Great to see Road to Formula paying tribute to a legendary team that calls this track home in the real world. And of course to some other teams over in GPV series across the pyramid as well. Joseph Herlock, early pace setter, 21.504 is the lap time. Very fast indeed. It's going to be awkward getting used to seeing a Road to Formula car in red, must be said, but we'll keep on pushing nonetheless into the Parabolica, which isn't actually called the Parabolica anymore. It's now called the Michele Alboreto corner, named after the Italian racing driver who was killed back in 2001. That being said, though, with all due respect to Michele Alboreto, I feel like everyone's going to carry on calling it the Parabolica just because of how much of an iconic name it is. Laho then starts his first lap and into the Variante Rettifilo, the opening chicane here at Monza. Now Curva Grande, big corner, flat out now, not even the blink of an eye, just the flick of a wrist and it's gone by in a modern Formula racing car. And now we really start to test your metal as you get into the second sector, left and then right. Try not to run out into the gravel. And now the two Lesmos, very awkward corners slightly off the boil, slightly before the downforce has fully turned on. And you've got to watch those curbs as well. They are brutal through that part of the racetrack. Now down through the back section and through the forest under the bridge that hosts the old speedway. The old banked oval that they used to run here many moons ago, through Ascari and into the gravel trap goes Alex Laho. So it won't be a strong lap on this occasion, although looking at the delta before, he was looking pretty good. So Alex Laho still got some time to still got to put a time on the board for starters, but that was looking pretty good, Carlos.
Yeah, right now he's on the bottom of the charts. Well, he will have at least 2 more attempts, even if he can cut it. Maybe if he aborts another one, he will have a 3rd one. As we see, Perseus Miriam finishing the lap currently 1.3 seconds off from the current best lap time. Maybe I think this will be enough for a P19, P20 right now. And it is P19. And this is, well, sharing a slot with Dennis Urban, which is weird to see right now in Dennis in P20. I think they have a bit of margin for a better lap. And what is really important, and here my Italian friends, which are not too many here in GPV, the Italian pronunciation is really specific and characteristic. This is Michele Alboreto.
My apologies to the people of Italy then.
Yeah, they get really offended. They are sometimes a bit, special. Well, but this is the good thing of the Italians, is we see one on board who is improving 1.3 tenths over the fastest Sector 1 right now, which is Alessandro Maggio, going for a really strong lap. He did a really strong lap as well in the practice session. And here he goes, a slightly worse Sector 2 than his teammate Joseph Herlock. And here he goes, finishing Sector 3, Ascari, really neat, really clean. Now you need to do Parabolica, you need to send it, you need to hit the corner in the entry and put the power down very soon. And here he goes. Now you close up the end of the corner, which you will not do in the race. And then he goes for a lap time of P1, 1:21.45, which is good lap time. I think he's got a bit more in himself. I mean, he's also him. He's really good. We're expecting good results and good performances from him. He has had a rough season so far, but we can expect here in Italy, in his, home track town, even though it's not really close to where he lives, we're expecting him really good performance.
We know how proud the Italians are as a nation. They have been since the days of Garibaldi and the unification of Italy. How much would it mean for a Valley Esports car to win on home turf and potentially with an Italian behind the wheel in the form of Alessandro Maggio? But maybe Alex Laho wants to rain on that parade as well. Sandeep Singh, currently best of P9, nearly 3.5 seconds off the boil. So it's not been a great opening lap from Sandeep. Alex Laho looking mighty through the middle sector, though, nearly a 10th up on anybody else. Just the Parabolica to go. Comes round, lots of slip angle, car moving all over the racetrack. Let's see what the time's going to be. Shortest run to the line, and it is second place, provisionally, by 13 thousandths of a second. The blink of an eye, millimeters out on the racetrack, separating Alessandro Maggio from Alex Laho. That is unbelievable. And Alex Laho, well, we know that he gets quicker and quicker as a session goes on as well. Interestingly enough, Rotor Formula have fully maxed out their drag upgrades in the R&D system. It's now at 100 out of 100, so that thing is like a snake in a straight line. Valley Esports at 71 out of 100, so lots of upgrades there as well for the Italian squad. Those two seem to be the pace setters early doors. Both Valet cars within half a tenth of a second of each other. Joseph Herlock really is right on the tail of Alex Laho, who you see on your picture. The number 42 with 5 minutes left on the clock, and your championship leader as well. Championships can't be decided, by the way, at this round. but we'll run you through them anyway. Lahore has a 38 points lead in the drivers' table. Sandeep Singh, 17 ahead of Jack Mayer himself, 43 ahead of David Feidock in Yan Dragoon, a further 9 back. Constructors' Championship, we won't be seeing go to this evening, but the next race very much could be going, according to my maths anyway, which is pretty terrible at the best of times. Road to Formula currently with a 140-point lead in the Constructors' Championship. As we're on board with Vincent Gutt, the German rounding the Parabolica. Let's see what he can do as he runs to the line. Was a bit disappointing in sector number 2 and dives straight into the pit lane. Again, Carlos, we're going to be avoiding all of that chaos that we sometimes see in real life at Monza, where everybody's waiting for the best opportunity to wait for the slipstream. But at the same time, as I said earlier, you're missing out on that slipstream. It really is just about what the car can do.
Yeah, at the end, I will say the very famous sentence is the same for everyone at the end. This guarantees equal conditions for everyone. And at the end, this shows who the really best driver is. And that is Maggio and Vale. They are doing a great job today. And as you mentioned, they are not the fastest car on the straights, but probably that extra downforce that they are having compared to other cars, that might help them. They are one of the teams that invested more in the diffuser, as long as True North, they are not the most invested in body drag, but they are fairly invested still in the rear wing and the front wing, which are factors that also help in the speed of the car. As we see Yan Dragoon finishing the lap, I think he's aborting. Yes, he is. Drake Racing is also in a really similar spot as Bale Esports in terms of upgrades. They are really close to each other in diffuser, rear wing, body drag, so they are really similar cars. The fact that both cars, that Drake Racing and Bale, they are strong, it shows that they are following a good path here. And I think everyone right now is just waiting for the very last attempt with the extra grip you can expect from it, and we will see like a bit of a calm before the storm, before everything goes for the pole position. Regarding Spark is actually one of the closest teams in terms of car comparison to Road to Formula. They also have Body Drag 100, and they are really close in all the terms. They are really close. So there are cars that should behave good here in paper and also in Baku. They are also the most developed cars, which is also a part of GPV. This development that you have to invest properly in your car and when to develop it and to take care of the finances of the team. And they are really looking alike, as we see Alex Lehoux going purple, Sector 1, going purple, Sector 2. Will he go purple, Sector 3? That's what we expect from the championship leader right now, as he is closing in Parabolica, closing in the inside to do the least meters possible, and that makes it P1, 121.3. Right now puts him 1/10 ahead of Maggio and Herlock, which basically means they are on pressure right now. Alex will not have another attempt.
Lovely stuff though from the championship leader. Is that the breakaway that he needed in this qualifying session? It's not making a statement, it's not a huge jump forward, but it's enough. It's enough as it stands to nail him into that pole position spot. But there's a minute left on the clock and the valet cars could be improving. Alex Lehoux certainly won't be as he finds the barrier heading into Lesmo number 1. That is his qualifying session done and dusted. He's escaped back to the pits. That's a DNF in qualifying. He is withdrawn from the remainder of this session. Let's see what Alessandro Maggio can do then. Lehoux pushed a little bit too hard and ran out of talent. Can the Italian on home soil make the miracles happen? Let's find out as he bombs his way down into the opening chicane, down into second gear. Don't want to take too much curb. You want to take enough to try and hook the car and want to avoid the curb on the exit as well. Cost you a little bit of time. Now Curva Grande. This is flat out in a modern Formula car, even in high fuel, coming up to 320 kilometers an hour before braking into the next chicane again. Not too much much curb here. That's going to bounce the car out. Watch that gravel trap on the outside. Looking good for Maggio as we go into the Lesmos. Number 1 done and dusted. Now watch the inside curb at Lesmo number 2. That one is a real suspension killer. Maggio looks absolutely on the money as the checkered flag comes out. He is flying here. Let's see the split in sector number 2 for the Magic Man. And it's a big advantage. Just needs to finish the lap and he's going to be 2/10, nearly 3/10 clear. 1 corner to go. The revs rise 310 kilometers an hour on the dashboard. What has Maggio got coming into the Parabolica? Watch the rear of the car. Trust the front end. Don't touch the gravel. It's looking good. It's looking fantastic. It's looking like pole position for Alessandro Maggio by 2/10 of a second. An Italian has done it here at Monza. That was a special lap time. Man,
yeah, it was
man.
definitely special. Although this is not over yet. I think there is some drivers are still going for it. There is nobody actually, I think, can beat Maggio, but there are some positions still in place. I think Joseph is also improving, but I don't think it will be enough to get a position, and it is not. It improves the lap time, but it will not be enough. And Jack Mayer was also improving, but not enough as well. And as we can see, Maggio P1, Alex P2, but the other championship contender, Sandeep Singh, is a bit further back. He didn't have the greatest of qualifyings. He is P10, and that will make a race really interesting.
Will be from a win last time out at Spa to P10 on the grid for Sandeep Singh. He's been struggling a little bit for one lap pace recently, and I wonder if those issues are beginning to compound even further. But that's it then. For qualifying, everybody has set a lap, and it is Alessandro Maggio, the Magic Man, who has set the world alight here as he storms to Superlights pole on home soil. Alex Laho, he'll start alongside the championship leader with a clear run down to turn number 1. Joseph Herlock in the other Valley Esports car starts third, with Jack Mayer in P4. Oliver Tarras is in P5, with David Farduk 6th, Jan Takura 7th, and Jan Dragoon in P8, and all Jan row 4. Vincent Gutt is in P9 with Sandeep Singh once again rounding out our top 10. A disappointing qualifying for the Road to Formula team boss. Let's see if he can move forward heading in at the race. Further down the grid, Mathieu Pishkamp wound up P11. Maxime Bulio also in P11 apparently. Not sure what's happened there. That'll be P12 with David Wasserman 13th. Davide Zanini, the Italian Panini, could only muster 14th on home soil, with Thomas Kutka in P15. Dominic Koroshavin 16th alongside Chris Gitsov on 17th, with Remco de Jong 18th, Dennis Urban 19th, and Tom van der Voort down in P20. Yeah, Drake Racing guys having polar opposite qualifyings, it would seem. Purgis Miram starts 22nd, and that's why the timing board had a moment, because David Yunt has joined the session right at the death in the other Chaos Esports car. He did not set a lap time. He'll be starting 22nd. That's qualifying done and dusted then for GPVW Superlights here at round 12 of the 2024 season, as we are here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, as it is known. A place steeped in passion and history. Drivers tell you to win here perhaps means more than anywhere else in the world. They're out on their warm-up now. We're only a few moments away from going racing here for 44 laps around this 5.8 kilometer long circuit, much of which is just a flat-out blast. Low downforce all over the shop. And it's all about playing that slipstream game, NASCAR style, just trying to utilize the pace, utilize the tires, and just try and be smart. That's why you don't often see a million overtakes here at Monza. Drivers much more happy to sit in the DRS, sit in the slipstream, and just bide their time. There is no point going for a move, losing time battling, wasting your tires away, where you can just sit and be happy. So we'll wait and see what the race has in store for us and what this evening has in store for us as we get underway. 9 minutes left in this qualifying session. Carlos, obviously you'll be out here on a Thursday driving around in the Super League, the worst version of Superlights, if you ask me. Definitely not. It is of course the top tier in GPVWC sim racing, where the best of the best battle it out for glory. what's it take to go around here and be quick at Monza?
You need to be really calm with the tires. The tires get really hot actually. The thing is you have really low downforce, therefore the tires get really hot. There are opportunities to actually attack if you decide so. The challenge is, can you pull out of the DRS train? If you're able to pull out, then I would suggest, yeah, just go for it. I think it is not possible. I think it will be very easy to keep up with the pace, so the smartest thing to do is to actually preserve the tires, and then don't allow the others to take an advantage of it being in the DRS. So slowing down the pace, that is an interesting strategy. So anyone from P1 to actually P20 today, which is, well, P22 if you ask me, which is the whole field, can actually win the race from any position. Obviously, it's easier from P1 than P22, but I think anyone who has the chance, the pace, and the mentality for it can actually win. And one of those is also one of the reserve drivers from today, which is Oliver Taras, who qualified in a really nice fifth position, taking the momentum from Redvan. Redvan has been doing a really nice second part of the season. After the first 5 races, they gained a lot of pace, and they're doing a good job so far. It's a matter of time, maybe they find a primary driver next to the other ones, because they are doing really well. They have a good car, they have a good setup, which is the most important thing in these scenarios.
Absolutely. It is great to see Oliver Taras back here this weekend. Of course, made his Superlights debut last time out at Spa, running a very good race until an unfortunate wheelbase failure sent him hurtling into the barriers down at the bus stop coming towards the end of the race. Let's see what he can do coming into this one, try and make a proper impression and get some points on the board for that young British driver. Wait and see what he does. But yeah, absolutely. I think you're right, Carlos. It's a race where anything can happen. Of course, we've got the notorious Turn 1 chicane, arguably the worst corner in sim racing, if you ask many people. Obviously, lots of drivers will be running single monitor setups, and it's just very tricky to go barreling down there, surrounded by 21 other cars at 300 kilometers an hour on the opening lap. Yeah, sometimes can be a bit chaotic, but must be said, it's been pretty clean lap ones here at GPVWC Superlights this season, which is always great to see.
It's Imola, no? Do you remember Imola?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, for the most part, it's all been very, very clean on the opening laps, which just goes to show how strong this field is. Of course, you'd expect it to be strong. This is the second tier of GPVWC racing, where some of the best in sim racing are fighting for their way to try and make their way onto the Super League grid. But yeah, so hopefully it shouldn't be too chaotic down into turn number 1. But of course, then you've got to negotiate your way through Variante della Roggia as well. Another chicane very early doors on the lap, and that can be a bit chaotic as well. We've seen a fair few incidents there in lap 1s across the years, as there is not long left to go in this qualifying, or warm-up session should I say. 5 minutes left on the clock. Not everyone heading out, of course. Some drivers prefer just to stay in the pit lane, chat with engineers and see what is going to happen. Last time we were here, Owen McGorgy took the race win in 2022. Jake Dennehan, 2021. Matthew Williams, 2020. Leon Bock and Matthew Williams in 2019. So we will have a new race winner here at Monza in Superlights in 2024. Who fancies it? Alessandro Maggio is looking mighty after that qualifying session. Then again, has the disadvantage of being at the front of the DRS train should he stay in the lead come the end of lap number 1 and onwards into the race. 44 laps around here, they'll go by in the blink of an eye, as it always does. Always exciting in Superlights, and it should be very, very exciting as we're on board with one of the Fusion cars. I believe it's Maxime Bulia that we're just getting a look backwards with, coming into the pit lane now. And that'll be, well, not the end of their session, but maybe doing a practice start in the pit lane or something along those lines. No, escaping straight back into the pit lane. Of course, you are allowed to do that in practice. You are allowed to hit the escape key on your keyboard, teleport yourself back into the pits. If you do that in the race itself or in qualifying, you are not allowed to rejoin the circuit. It is classed as retiring from the session. There's something to keep in mind. If this is your first time watching GPVWC, hello and welcome. Pleasure to bring you all the action. Myself, Ross McIntyre, with Carlos Martin alongside me in the commentary box and Fabian Jungbluth on the cameras. You've missed, well, a barnstorming qualifying session if you are just joining us. But what a time to get involved in one of the best sim racing leagues on the planet, the Drivers' Championship, hotting up. The constructors not far away from being confirmed if Road to Formula keep up their form. It's anyone's guess how it's all going to unfold. Of course, Sandeep Singh, race winner last time out from that brilliant strategy in the chaos of changeable conditions at Spa. Let's see if he can work his way forward from 10th on the grid as his teammates start from the front row. Championship leader Alex Lahoe will be looking to continue to pick up some strong points heading forward in this one. Of course, it's been we haven't had a non-Road to Formula driver win a race since David Feidock in Austria. Since then, Sandeep Singh's claimed 2, and Alex Lahoe claiming 1. Of course, Lahoe was very much in the fight for the victory at Silverstone until an incident at the final corner sent him tumbling down into P6. Heartbreak for the Frenchman, but he's kept up his good form. 2 podiums, including a win in the last 2 races. Let's see what he could do, or maybe we'll have another winner. We've only had 4 winners this season in Lahoe, Sandeep Singh, Jack Mayer and David Feidock, your top 4 in the championship. Feidock has 1 more win, double the wins than Jack Mayer, 2-1, but obviously Feidock missed the first 2 rounds of the season as he was trying to figure out whether he could even go racing in 2024. Some personal stuff going on with his life that meant he couldn't contest in the Super League. He's come down to Superlights and has continued to show why he's such a phenomenal driver. But Jack Mayer hasn't had a race win since Canada, been on the podiums a few times since then, but struggled for form at Silverstone, a disappointing 4th by his standards in Germany, although a podium at Spa last time. Let's see if he can try and slot his way forwards as well. Carlos, I mean, you said anyone could win this race, and I'm in agreement with you, but, you know, if you were a betting man, who would you be putting your money on?
Wow. That's a hard one. I think this one is the most difficult one to actually bet on. I think the most important thing of this race will be when you pit. This is the most important question, because maybe the only way to pull out of the DRS is with a big tire difference. You create this tire gap and then maybe you can actually go for it, or you just undercut them massively. You create this 5-6 seconds gap, and then you are able to, just by pure raw pace, just able to keep that gap, and then nobody else gets you and hunts you down. So I think the first thing, the only important thing is not killing the tires. Try to go flexible and to see where the traffic is. Try to pit in a window that you actually get benefit from it. But you know what, Ross? I feel spicy today. I want drama in turn 1 today. I know nobody or no commentator wants it, but somehow I feel it. I feel like it today. I really want something spicy to happen in turn 1. I feel there is a lot of drivers that, when, especially, you know, Sandeep, Feidock, Alex and Jack, they are not in the contest. There are many of them that actually contest for that, and I think there are so many of them that with a little bit of spice this can happen, and I'm willing to have a bit of spice today.
Carlos Martin's clearly woken up and chosen violence. We'll wait and see what is going to happen. But yeah, I mean, turn 1, Monza, it can be interesting, to say the least, and we'll wait and see how it's all going to unfold. The warm-up session, I think, is moments away, and in fact actually has come to an end. Checkered flag is out in the warm-up, so it's over. The final session before the racing begins, so we'll be seeing the drivers heading back to the pit lane. And then obviously we'll be out for our formation lap, then 5 red lights, and we'll be underway. What is going to happen? There could be drama, there could be chaos. Carlos Martin wants there to be some chaos. We'll wait and see if his prediction's going to come true. 44 laps around here, though, in Italy. And boy, oh boy, it's looking to be a lovely day over on the Italian peninsula. It's looking to be a lovely evening of racing once again, and maybe we'll see some more drama in the championship as well. Again, 38 points is the gap from Alex Lahoe to Sandeep Singh. 17 points further back is Jack Mayer. David Feidock a further 43 back from Mayer. So he's got some asking to do if he wants to stay in the championship fight. But Jack Mayer starting to get to a bit of crunch time. He wants to start working his way forward, seeing what he can do. But yeah, I guess turn one, Carlos. I mean, obviously you want to see a bit of chaos, but for the drivers, I'm assuming it's just kind of get down there and hope no one crashes into you.
Well, I mean, as long as they crash behind you and not into you, it's all fine and good. I guess you are always willing to see that in your rear mirrors, not just catching you up, you know. I think everyone is really aware of how strong the Slipstream and the DRS is, and I think they will take it really cautiously. But you never know. These things, one little tap in the rear, then you lose control, you cannot brake, you head into turn one, and then you slap some drivers, and then you suddenly have a really new race and something really unexpected. Of course, drama, but no DNFs into. I don't wish anyone to DNF, but a bit of damaged cars, different paces. That something spicy happens. I think at the end, everyone we enjoy a different race, and we want to see an aggressive race, and maybe with a bit of chaos. Then the drivers that are normally ahead, they need to pull out something aggressive and something out of the box, and which is what at the end we end up enjoying as viewers and as casters here. So yeah, the important thing will be that for the most of the drivers to take it as clean as possible for most of the lap one, which will be really chaotic. A lot of push to pass yet to use, a lot of managing. You don't want to lead, but you don't want to, fall back too much. Otherwise, you will be in a difficult spot. And I think it's time to the race to start. And the top 10, I think they are really good, really valid, and I think they will be able to follow each other, and no one will drop. So the question will be that if anyone in the top 10 drops, then aggressiveness will start, and push to pass will start as well.
Well, we'll wait and see. The drivers will be making their way onto the grid in the blink of an eye. And there we go. Speak of the devil, starting to teleport their way over into the grid box. 1 minute to go until the formation lap, as you can tell from the red light, the solitary red light on the lighting gantry. And now the drivers are all working their way through. Alessandro Maggio, the Italian driver in the Italian car, starting on pole on home soil. That's going to be a wonderful feeling, but the nerves are going to be there as well. Again, we know how passionate the Italians are in motorsport, and he will be determined to try and get a race victory. As some of the drivers very slow away on our formation lap. Someone with some problems there in the background.
Oh, it already happened.
Yeah, there's the chaos at the start. Haven't even got to the first lap yet and already having issues. But as we make our way on our formation lap, let us run through our grid. You can see the drivers snaking their way down into turn number 1, and there is someone still in the pit lane. And what's going on there? Hopefully everyone's okay, making their way out. That could be a pit lane start, maybe. Should be okay.
That will be. Yeah, because when you crash... Oh, Jan Dragon. Oh, my God.
It's an issue. It was Jan who was slow away from the grid then. Problems for Jan Dragoon before we even get underway. Disaster for the Czech driver. But it is Alessandro Maggio who leads the way on the formation lap. And he will be starting from pole position. Alongside him, of course, is that strange red-looking thing. That is, of course, the Road to Formula of your championship leader, Alex Lahoe. Second row of the grid, meanwhile, the other Valley Esports car of Joseph Herlog. And Jack Mayer, he starts P4. This is a huge opportunity for Valle to pick up a fantastic result this weekend. Oliver Taris, he's qualified P5 with David Fidok in P6. Jan Zakor is 7th. Jan Dragoon should be starting in P8. Hopefully he'll be able to make it out onto the racetrack. Vincent Gutt is 9th with Sandeep Singh, rounding out our top 10. Choose Pishkan is 11th with Maxime Bulio. A strong qualifying for them in P12 in the Fusion Racing car. P13, David Wasserman, the leading Chaos driver with Davide Zanini, the Italian Panini. He starts P14. Thomas Kutka is 15th for Red Ven Racing. And Dominic Koroshavin is 16th for Alpha Sierra. Chris Gitsoff starts 17th in the sister car. And the Remco de Joux starting P18. Dennis Urban is 19th with Tom van der Voort. Definitely not Vincent van der Voort. He rounds out our top 20. Persia's Miriam starts 21st. David Yunt did not set a time in qualifying, so he'll start 22nd. Hopefully, Jan Dragoon is able to start this race. We'll wait and see, but the driver's now coming in to the grid. The pressure is now on. We'll wait and see if Jan Dragoon's managed to get out of the pit lane. We'll wait and see if that problem has managed to solve itself. I think he's still in there. And yeah, so it is going to be a pit lane start for Jan Dragoon. That's a real shame.
I think he can start on medium though. I think he has to start on soft because he qualified in the top 15. So that is dangerous. Fast prediction. Who wins? Ross. Fast.
Well, I mean, Jack Mayer, P4, don't count him out. Alex Lahoe could be dangerous, but, you know, I want Alessandro Maggio to take this one just for the glory of winning on home soil. The drivers then, bar Jan Dragoon, waiting for the red lights. It is lights out. We are go in Monza. Great start there for Alessandro Maggio. He's left them all for dust as they bomb down into turn number 1. A disappointing getaway for Alex Lahoe, but he's going to box up all of the drivers behind him as they make their way into the opening chicane. Joseph Herlog trying to force the championship leader out wide as Maggio already bolting into the distance. All clean through turn 1. Bit of a rubbing wheels, but nothing too calamitous. Sorry about the lack of spikes there, Carlos. Now coming through Curva Grande into turn number 3. Joseph Herlog fancies a move, but Lahoe closes the door, heading into the braking zone through the second chicane, and on they go into the Lesmos, flying through the Variante della Roggia, and now into Lesmo number 1 and then Lesmo number 2. And well, there is Joseph Herlog, got held up by Lahoe as a result, but look at the gap already that Maggio is trying to pull. His strategy, his game plan, clearly just try and bolt away as quickly as he can, try and get out of that DRS zone from Lahoe behind. Early doors here, but Lahoe's managed to recover over the second half of this lap, it would seem. Managed to still stay within striking distance, though not necessarily close enough for an overtake down into the Michele Alboreto chicane. Not chicane, hairpin should I say, formerly known as Parabolica. Got to put so much trust in the mechanical grip of the car through there. Hope the rear doesn't move around too much, because you can find yourself flying into the barrier in the blink of an eye, as that is Chris Gitzoff and Dennis Urban trading positions. Coming through the final corner, we begin lap number 2. And it is the Italian Alessandro Maggio. After a stellar getaway from the lights, he leads here on lap number 1. Oliver Taris still in P4, or P5 should I say. Not a lot of changes for position in the top half of the field. Chris Gitzoff and Dennis Urban, now they're already going wheel to wheel. They want to get a fight on straight away. Great start there then for Carlos. Or straight start for Alessandro, should I say, Carlos. I guess now he's just got to get his head down and keep moving forwards.
I mean, the important thing now is if he can find a slot to use a lot of push to pass and break this DRS, then that it will be great for Maggio, and he's trying it. I think it's in the 9-10th range, Alex. He cannot get relaxed. He needs to use push to pass to match this push from Maggio, and then once the DRS is you're able to use it, then you can chill it a bit more. But right now the important thing is to keep in this DRS range, use P2P if the guy in front uses it, and don't let them go. You want to hang out into this pulling force, which is the DRS and the slipstream, which I think he understood that, because he's right now in this 9-7-10th range. He's playing with fire though, because if you lose it, then you will need to push way more, and at the end this is the kind of race start I expected to be. Maggio 125.2, we know that is fast, that is a pushing lap. I mean, he tried to get out of the DRS range, and surely if Alex has the DRS, as we see Koroshavin actually going for the attack on Zanini, going for a P13. I think he's one of the soft runners right now, heading into the group. He will try to catch Wasserman and then try to hold into the group, as we see Kutka going also for the move as we go, and then he thinks it again. I think that move will have been pretty dangerous, although I see all of them right now on the softer compound, unless Factor 2 is tricking us right now, which I hope it doesn't. So right now Koroshavin, what he needs to do is to catch up on Wasserman, use all the P2P possible, as we see most of them use the soft tire, even people who is starting out of the top 15, because the DRS is so powerful. You actually.
Jack Mayer's out.
Oh no! Oh wow! That is big drama for the championship. Wow. Let's see if that was a disconnection or was it a crash. Well, we will know soon enough as we have a replay. Then we will see he's heading into a Ascari right now, and then he brakes normally into it. Does Ascari normally.
Oh,
that's a disconnection. Wow.
What a shame for Jack Mayer, the reigning FS1 champion, down and out before the race even truly got underway. And obviously that has massive, massive implications for his quest for the championship as well. A damning blow to the Brit as Dominic Koroshavin continues to push forward on the note of tyres. Everybody on the softs, apart from Purges Mira and Chris Givesoff, David Yun and Tom van der Voort, not Chris Gutzov, Jan Dragoon, should I say. They're on a mixture of the mediums and the hards. Everybody else, though, they are all on the soft compound of rubber in this opening stint. There we do see Chris Gitzov, so Gitzov is in fact on the medium compound there. That's the C4 compound. Obviously highlighted by the yellow text on the sidewall of the rubber as they push their way out of Lesmo 2. Been a good start to the race so far from Chris Gitzov in the Alfa Sierra car, slowly working his way forward and making that medium rubber work very nicely as well, which is good to see. Of course, DRS is now enabled, so if you're within a second of the car in front, then you do have DRS. That's down the main straight and coming into the Ascari chicane as well. Actual 2 DRS zones here at Monza in GPVWC. There's one of them. You can see the DRS board there. You can see the flaps flying open on the rear wings of the car. Sandeep Singh, he's managed to work his way up to P8 early doors. Jan Sikora thinking about a move on Vincent Gutt, but way too far back. Think he was more focused on filling the mirrors of the Spark Racing driver in front, the sole Spark Racing driver now. Maybe trying to just put some pressure, invade the mind space of Vincent Gutt in front. Maybe close enough to have a go, though, down into the next chicane, pulling to the inside on the brakes. Jan Sikora and Vincent Gutt, wheel to wheel. There is contact between the pair of them. Sikora dips a wheel into the gravel and will drop back behind Sandeep Singh, who's now trying to muscle his way past, but ultimately can't come into fruition. And that would have been a very, very bold move there from the Road to Formula team boss. Race winner last time out at Spa. Just goes to show, Carlos, it's a proper old school circuit here at Monza. You make a mistake, there's not a lot of runoff. It is very much you're in a gravel trap, it can cost you time.
Yeah, especially in a track that you need a lot of speed coming out of the corners. If you touch the gravel, if you touch the grass, you're done. You will lose 2-3 places, and this is what happened. And when they fight, they are just losing out on Fidok and the 2 groups that are in front there. As we see, where there is one group with Maggio, Alex and Joseph at the front, which this will be key for Vale. If Maggio and Joseph want to contest for the win, as we see Fidok going for the move on Oliver Taras. Taras lost the DRS, probably he's having issues with tire management. As we see Sandeep also going for the move on Vincent. Now what Vincent needs to do is just chill, try to get dragged by Sandeep if you can follow that pace, and then catch up the group in front of Fidok and Taras. And hopefully for Sandeep, Fidok, what has to happen is the guys in front, they need to fight. Although this is only depending on Alex, which I'm pretty sure he's very aware of what he needs to do to secure the championship, or to even secure the race win. He needs to be calm, not lose fights, don't lose time on fights, and this is what is actually happening. There is a fight, you lose a lot of time, and therefore there is this group at the front of 1, 2, 3, Vale, Road to Formula Vale, which is fantastic for the Italian team. They are looking forward towards this result, and we can see now this is the important factor. This is the important factor. Save tires and then push. And we can expect some pit box relatively soon by lap 12. And I think lap 12 you will go for a hard tire really long, or even for a 2-stopper. I think the 1-stopper is way stronger than the 2-stopper at this track. And we will see. But I expect people to go really, really long, even to lap 18, 19. Even the furthest maybe 20. As we see now, Sikora attacking Vincent. Ooh, he almost loses the rear. Sorry to interrupt you, Ross. And this is the thing. If you push the car too much, you will end up losing the rear end of the car. And if you slip on it, people will actually attack you. And you can see Sikora is almost lost the rest of Singh. So he needs, Sandeep needs to push now. Just a tiny bit so he gets rid of this huge DRS train, which will try to undercut them just to make the race difficult, which is part of racing. But he has to now pull it, and this 1.1, 1.0 is key. So Sikora having DRS now, it is a great part of Sandeep's race.
Absolutely. A very big bit of sideways action there for Sikora, and now he is outside of DRS range from Sandeep Singh. So he'll now be fronting up this third train that we've got forming here. Now we've got the leaders, first, second, third, Maggio, Laho, Herlock, they're all locked together. And then you've got David Fidek and Oliver Taras. Sandeep Singh's in a bit of no man's land. And then you've got Sikora on down, about today at Davide Zanini. So a lot of drivers getting locked into those DRS trains. Maggio, though, starts lap 8. He's led every lap so far this race. And currently has the fastest lap as well. Could the Magic Man be on for a Grand Chelem at home? We'll have to wait and see, as there we see Laho getting a bit squirrely on the corner exit of the opening chicane. I don't think that's how the Frenchman would want to be taking that in the future, but hasn't lost him a lot of time as they fly down into the next chicane, the third chicane, the Delarogia chicane, and then heading on through. Of course, this part of the racetrack, or well, Monza in fact, very much largely unchanged since it was first constructed. Of course, we've had some chicanes put in. We don't use the oval part of the circuit anymore. That's the big banked oval, just sits there as a testament to history. But the track itself, this is very much what the likes of, you know, early Formula One drivers and pre-war Grand Prix drivers would have been going around. Maybe the tarmac quality a little bit less so, and the safety a little bit less so. We have a thing called a crash barrier now. Back in the day, it used to be a tree. So obviously that's improved, but Monza very, very much the same as it once was. So there's that added element of knowing that you're driving on the roads of so many legends before you. As Maggio will now lead them once again onto lap 9. Laho just not able to close in enough at the moment. Joseph Herlock similar. Joseph Herlock might be in danger of dropping out of DRS here as well. He's in it at the moment, but only just. As maybe a move from Alex Laho. Not quite. Thought about it. Had a look to the inside. That was definitely some use of push to pass there from the championship leader. Again, these guys do have a limited amount of push to pass they're allowed to use in the race. Gives you a bit of an extra kick in a straight line. And of course, you have to use it tactically. You have to think about when can I use it to try and push myself forward. Laho clearly trying to use some there, but it didn't work for him on that occasion. Joseph Herlock still now within DRS range. He's closed that gap back down to Alex Laho. Again, very, very odd seeing a Road to Formula car in red. Feels a bit sacrilegious, to be honest, but again, paying homage to a certain Italian squad with a certain tobacco company plastered all over it as they make their way into Ascari. Of course, Ascari's changed this year. They've redone the curb layout, so there's no sausage curves at Ascari anymore. It means you can attack the corner a lot more aggressively, and the curbs are much flatter and wider as well, so a lot more speed through that section. And we can see there the results of that, nearly 320 kilometers an hour for Laho on the dashboard as he came into Parabolica. And leads us onto lap 10, does Alessandro Maggio. Again, no one really quite able to make a move. Let's see if Laho uses push to pass again. He'll get the DRS. Is the warp speed enough? Is he close enough? Not on this occasion. He's going to stay in second place. Lap 10 though, Carlos. Looking at the tyres of Alex Laho, they look okay, but maybe starting to see a bit of graining on the front tyres. So maybe we're going to start to be thinking about pit stops. And I must say as well, Alessandro Maggio's tyres looking in a bit worse condition than Laho's on the eye test anyway. So now with these leaders, we're going to be starting to think about who's going to come into the pit lane first.
I think Bale is struggling right now. I think it's pretty clear that Alex gets really close in the corners, but this is what Alex had to do. He was conserving a lot the first laps. You can see the wobble Alessandro had into Lesmo 2. and right now the upper hand is on Alex. I think what he needs to do is to basically ignore whatever the Vale do. If they pit or do not pit, you actually want to go really pretty long, and you just ignore what they do. And what Vale needs to do is to just go long as well, and try to keep Alex in a... If Alex overtakes you, it is fine as long as you can keep in the DRS. But if you destroy too much the tires that Alex can actually pull away, then you are actually in danger of not winning the race. As we see Alex going for the move, and Alessandro just does allow it. I don't think he defended really hard, and they go into turn 1 and 2, the chicane. And now this is the key. Ooh, that's difficult traction for Alex. This is the key of the race right now. Does Alex have everything to actually pull out right now? I think it was a bit too soon. I think he was comfortable behind, saving tires. Right now you just allow Alessandro, if he has the pace to hold, then to just chill behind you. But yeah, it was, I think, a smart move from Vale if they can hold in the upcoming laps. They need to do quite some laps still on this set of tires if they want to win this race.
Absolutely. So then, change at the front. Alessandro Maggio drops back into second place, and there's more chaos behind. That's Davide Zanini. He got a bit wheel baggy with Dominic Koroshev, and it looks like the Ukrainian driver forcing his way through. As a result, Zanini now under big pressure from Kutka and Deju behind. Themselves are fighting as well. Remco Deju with a bold move up the inside into Ascari. That's not a normal overtaking spot. Lovely stuff there from the Fusion Racing driver. Promotes him to P14.
Ooh, there's a crash.
Sector 2. Is there a big crash might have happened? Yellow flags out. It is. It's Dennis Urban down and out of the race. That looked to be a big one, that did, for the PZZW driver. A real shame, our second retirement of the day. What has happened? That was just behind, actually, the battle we were watching, so he must have just missed it. Comes into Ascari, comes to the right-hander. Yeah. Oh, and just the rear goes slightly. Then the overcorrection, and then hard into the tyre barrier. That is going to be a few bumps and bruises to the virtual man sat in the car of Dennis Urban. A real shame, our second retirement of the day. Back to the action though. Oliver Taras has been overtaken by Sandeep Singh. He's been slowly carving his way through the field over the opening half of this race. So great to see that Taras is continuing to put on a good performance, even if he has dropped a place. Great to see that Sandeep Singh is making good on a disappointing qualifying session. Now up to P5 it'll be out on the racetrack. Can Taras try and upset the apple cart into Ascari? Not quite on this occasion. Already seen one great move there this race. More often than not, moves into Ascari end up in disaster or in the wall. So it's not often you see drivers having a go and giving it a go, even with the DRS zone just before it. Taras, though, will draw alongside. That's Jan Sikora that is now alongside with. So Sikora got a great run out of Ascari. Taras has to stick the elbows out a little bit, say no, you're not coming through, but on board with Sikora will get the DRS he'll use to push to pass. And this, Carlos, will be the easiest overtake in the world as they go 3 wide. Vincent Gutt, that's brave from the Spark Racing team. Can't get the second move confirmed as they go wheel to side pod. But it's Oliver Taras losing 2 places in one straight. Jan Sikora goes through. Vincent Gutt was brave to make it 3 wide. Gutt can now be trying to go the long way around at Curva Grande. This is brilliance from the German as he flies on through. Exquisite overtaking on display here in GPVWC Superlights. Wonderful from the Spark Racing driver. Shades of Sebastian Vettel round the outside at Curva Grande. That was brilliant. And that was bold. Up into P6 goes Vincent Gutt on lap 13 of 44. And maybe now he can start to try and chase down Sandeep Singh as well. Unfortunately, Jack Mayer down and out, Carlos, but Spark are feeling quick this weekend by the looks of things.
Yeah, their upgrades are really fitting into this Grand Prix, and we could see it in the straight that Vincent almost overtook both cars at the same time, and this was crucial because Oliver was struggling with the tires right now, and he is kind of the guy you want to be ahead right now. You can visually see it. Even the right tire is having a lot of issues. That I'm not even speaking about the left one. But yeah, this was crucial for Vincent, because you don't want to stay 2 or 3 corners behind the slow guy that is struggling with tires. You want to keep up on it, and then, well, it is a side quest, the fact that he overtook Sikora, and most importantly, Sikora was in the DRS of Sandeep, and now because of this fighting from Vincent, now they lost it. So this is clean air for Sandeep, which he was one of the fastest guys in the previous 5 laps. Fidok is struggling right now. He's losing 4 tenths to Sandeep right now, so that's the next target for Sandeep, and maybe with a cheeky undercut, maybe 3.5 seconds is just a 2-lap undercut. Maybe you can, as we see Jan Dragoon going for the move right now on Renko Dezu, and they're going head-to-head into Lesmo 1 through the outside. They're holding. Guys, please don't crash. And now Dragoon is ahead. Wow, what a move. Oh, I think he will lose now the position. He had a bad exit, as we mentioned. This is important to have good exits here. No DRS, and now heading into Ascari. I think Jan will need to concede now, and he does. Well, he will just need to wait, I think, a pair more of corners, which now the medium tires are actually overcrossing the soft compound right now. I think it's the moment, and also Jan Dragoon has the car and the talent to actually pull this move right in the next straight. And here he goes. He goes into Parabolica really close. Kutka is also really close to him, so he cannot slip. Maybe we can see another overtake like Vincent got did just like 2 laps ago. I think this will be really tight for Dragoon, but he goes for the move. He brakes really late into turn 1. Ooh, a bit of grass. And then there was hopefully no contact, and then he goes through.
What an amazing spectacle we are witnessing now at the Autodromo Internazionale at Monza. This is brilliant stuff, isn't it? Of course, Jan Dragoon started from the pit lane, an issue on the starting grid. He had to teleport back to the pits. As that's really deep from Remco de Joux. A big mistake from the Fusion Racing driver. And he will fall back behind Thomas Kutka. Just, I think, a bit too much speed into the right at the Della Roja chicane, and he just caught the gravel, or had to get out of the throttle to miss the gravel, and that cost him momentum, cost him time, and crucially cost him a position. But still with Kutka in front, must be said, although out of DRS range now. Kutka himself out of DRS range of Jan Dragoon, so still a chance to maybe try and make some moves. And here's Oliver Tarras, the Brit, falling down to P8, but still very much in this train, being led by, that'll be Vincent Gull at the front there. They're tailing Sandeep Singh, who's catching David Fidok at a rate of knots now. Lap 16 of 44 here at Monza in the GPVWC Superlights. Of course, let us know who you're supporting. Let us know from where in the world you are watching, and let us know who you think is going to win in the live stream chat. Of course, if you've got any questions or any inside information, let me or Carlos know. We do like a bit of inside information. Makes our job easier and makes the racing better for you at home as well. Jan Sikora could maybe be looking for a move on Vincent Gull. He looked quite good through Sector 1 and looking pretty good through the opening part of Sector number 2 as well, but a bit of a mistake out of Lesmo 2. We'll see him drop back, so it won't be a dive into Ascari, to say the least, as they go under the bridge, under the old banked portion of the racetrack. Still there, a monument to time, although I don't think the full part of the circuit still. I think it's just a straight and one of the turns. And then onto the back straight, which does have a name. It does escape me what the name is, but it does have a name, so there you go. The more you know. And then into Parabolica / Michele Alboreto corner. Currently, fastest lap of the race now belongs to Alessandro Maggio, who's come into the pit lane. So your pole sitter is in from P2 out on the road. That looks like a set of the hard compound tyres to take him to the end. Again, sometimes R Factor 2, it takes a moment to get what compounds they're on right for us here watching along the broadcast. So hopefully they'll update itself, but it looks like on the live timing, and he's gone out onto a set of the mediums. So we'll get that confirmed for you in just a moment. Hopefully those tyres update and flash yellow. But that's brought him out at P14 in some traffic as well. He's got to get through Thomas Kutka. Ball's now in Alex Laho and Joseph Herlock's court. When do they come into the pits, Carlos?
I think Joseph needs to push to pass to get the DRS from Alex. I think it was smarter for Vale to actually pit first Joseph, because now you have the chance to actually lose the DRS unless you pit right now. But I think to optimize the chances to win, what you needed to do, it was to pit first Joseph, to keep Alessandro in the DRS train, because Maggio, he had traffic this lap. He had to overtake Kutka. He just overtook him. So, well, I think Alex is not gonna react to this call. And if Maggio is on the hards, it is a choice that you go for the long run. You want to have the very best laps at the end of the stint. If you go for the medium, as we see Sikora maybe having a small look into Vincent, this is the moment where the tires are also struggling. Just to have a reference, most of the drivers are now racing 1.3, 1.4 seconds slower than what they were at the beginning of the race. So that shows how much tire wear there is right now. And it will be interesting because Maggio will create a gap. Although if, for example, Alex goes for the medium, he will recover this gap really fast. But what he will need to do eventually will be to create also a gap by himself. Whenever Maggio goes faster at the end, Maggio cannot catch him. So I think now Alex is in the upper hand, because as you can see, Joseph is losing time to Alex. The slipstream is really important, and once you go out of this DRS and slipstream range, you actually fall down a bit. He was 1.0 seconds in the previous lap. In this lap, he is just 1.5 seconds away. So let's see what Vale does and what Road to Formula do, given the current situation. And as we see, Vincent got, well, he's not the only one who is pitting right now. Sikora is also heading into the pits. And yeah, well, the important thing when you go into the new tires is just to have the clean air. He goes for the medium tires, whereas just one lap ago, Maggio went for the hard. Same goes for Sikora. So maybe we're expecting, we can see Maggio with the hard compound. Maybe we can see different strategies from the other drivers. And at the end of the day, what it will matter is if Maggio is able to catch whoever sets the medium tires at the end, because you will have better pace and then eventually they will not be able to defend them. What would I do if I was Alex? I just wait till Hurlock to pit, and if Hurlock sets hards, I set hard as well, and then I keep going, and that's it. You just need to you have the pace, and you just need to absolutely copy it, and that's it. And Maggio right now, he needs to clear all the traffic and make quite some time. I think Alex is going to the pits right now. Yeah, he does. He goes into the pits. Let's see what tire is he fitting in. As we see Joseph also pitting, copying Alex. This is important because without DRS right now, Joseph, we see a lot of people pitting, Sandeep pitting, Oliver Taras pitting as well. Most of them probably they go for the medium tire. Well, here it shows Alex on soft. It didn't up. Oh, Joseph on the hards. So this is a Vale thing going on the hards. Sandeep going for the medium, as we are used to see. He is a big fan of the medium tire, and we don't know yet from Alex. And we can see Maggio is ahead of Alex. He is about 2.1 seconds ahead right now. He will only have one car to clear right now, which is Jan Dragon, who started from the pit lane, and he needs to recover this gap with whatever tire he is on. And the good thing for him right now is that Hurlock doesn't have DRS, so he is only one car. I mean, unless Hurlock can actually follow Alex's pace, he only has to battle one Vale car right now.
Well then, Alessandro Maggio gets the undercut and gets back into the race lead here at Monza after the opening pit stops. I was going to say, Carlos, Alex Laho, he's a very headstrong driver. He doesn't make decisions based on emotions. As Matthews Pishkamp down and out of the race, shame for the True North driver. And those decisions that Laho doesn't make involves pit stops. If someone around him boxes, he will box when he is supposed to, not in response. Let's go on board with Pishkamp with a replay. What's happened to the True North driver? Coming on through, and that is a disconnect. And that is a real shame for him. He is down and out, our third retirement of this race. And our second disconnect as well joins Jack Mayer, who we lost early doors. David Feinek then into the pits. And that puts Alessandro Maggio properly up into the lead of the race. David Wasserman also in. The German looked to have a pretty clean stop. And out right behind his teammate as well as there's Alex Laho fighting Jan Dragoon. Of course, Dragoon on the alternate strategy. He started from the pit lane after an issue on the grid. So he's been running that medium tyre for a long, long time. Laho now up to P2, 2 seconds away from race leader Alessandro Maggio. Pole sitter here at him and his team's home Grand Prix. And boy, oh boy, the pressure is now on because we are going to be halfway through this race in a lap's time. And Maggio, of course, on a different compound to Alex Laho. Maggio's on the hards, Laho's on the mediums, which creates a very, very interesting dynamic. Big yellow flag out in Sector 2, but everyone looks to be okay. Purjas Miram just came into the pit lane and has come back out again. So Laho's already just carved away 0.5 of a second. Of course, early doors, he's on fresher rubber on a softer compound. He's going to be faster. Maggio, what he's trying to do here is play the long game. Wait for the tyres to get a bit tired. We saw, the destruction on the front end of the Valley Esports car at the back end of the previous stint. They're clearly not enjoying their tyres this weekend. They're not running to their optimal on the Valet cars as Jan Sikora. Easiest overtaking manoeuvre he'll ever do on Vincent Gutt, uses the DRS and blasts down the outside and gets the position confirmed before they even get to the braking zone. Lovely stuff there from Jan Sikora using the DRS. Probably some push to pass to get through as well. And, well, yeah, that's simple as it comes, really. That one halfway through this race then. Lap 22 of 44. Alessandro Maggio, pole sitter in his home race. He leads here. Alex Laho, championship leader on a softer compound of tyre. So, Carlos, I said at the start of this race, I don't think this is going to be a race about tyres. Well, it's now turned into a race about tyres.
It was always like that. It always was like the meme. I think, it's very clear Laho will catch him very fast. And what Alex needs to do right now, it's plain and simple. Catch, overtake, pull out. There's no other thing that you need to do. And I think Maggio right now, what he's trying is just the opposite. He is trying to just push a bit the tires. Although I think the smartest thing to do is to actually cruise them a bit, so you will have the higher end in the end. But let's see. I think it's very clear what is the strategy in one end and the other one. Herlock is 2.5 seconds behind Alex. So clearly in that end, Vale did not have the greatest of decisions, but it's always difficult when you have two cars in GPVWC that are really close in pace, that are really close in the race to what is the best decision when to pit, because in GPV you cannot pit both cars at the same time. Well, you can, but they have to stack one behind each other as it is in real life. So that is one of the compromises that actually, can happen during the race. So it will be a very interesting race until the end. I think what we see now is not entirely relevant for the outcome of the race, unless they start fighting really hard, which is also an option for Alessandro. If you fight him very hard and you make him lose some time, and then Joseph can actually catch up and then be together as a team, I think that is also one of the options that the Ballet team can use for this race. Definitely interesting, and you have a teammate for a thing, and maybe they do.
We'll have to wait and see. As you can see there, Laho is already right over the tail of Maggio. I think when Laho got through Maggio a few laps before the Italian stopped, he didn't put up much of a fight. I don't think he'll put up much of a fight either for this one. Again, he's playing the tyre game, playing the long game. He's on the harder compound, wants to take it to Laho in the final few laps. He just needs to manage those temperatures, manage the rubber, not let it get away from him, and he'll be absolutely fine. Still, though, leading on home soil, it's got to be feeling pretty good for Alessandro Maggio. DRS, of course, for Alex Laho. I don't think he'll be making the move down into Ascari, although we have seen a move there already today. Fills the mirrors a bit of Maggio, but doesn't quite go for it again. I think it'll be a textbook DRS down into turn 1 manoeuvre, which we're so used to seeing here at Monza. And there you can see Joseph Herlock 2.7 seconds back, Jan Draguna further 3.7. He is still yet to stop on that alternate strategy. And, well, he's done amazingly to get up to 4th place from the pit lane so far. So kudos to the Czech driver after those issues on the grid. And, well, this should be the overtake for the race lead. And it will be the overtake for the race lead, as Alex Laho to the inside with the DRS. Gets into the race lead. A little bit of side-by-side action, maybe. And Maggio is going to try and fight for it. But unfortunately, he can't get the traction down that the soft rubber does. But he's now on the slipstream, maybe at Curva Grande. Yeah, he's taking this to Alex Laho, isn't he? And Laho's going to squeeze the Italian side-by-side into turn number 3. And it's going to be neck-and-neck stuff as they go through. Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Maggio has to back out of it. But man, oh man, are they close. And that I thought he was going to be a, yep, you can take the lead. That's not part of my game plan. But Maggio fighting tooth and nail with the championship leader. Laho ultimately confirms the move as Joseph Herlock gets all sorts of sideways in the background. But Maggio's still there. Maggio's still with Alex Laho, still trying to fight him. He'll still have the DRS. He'll be using his push to pass. Oh, this is awesome stuff. Now there's a bit of a gap starting to appear, but again, still within DRS range is the Italian on the Frenchman. And of course, while they're fighting, that's allowing Joseph Herlock to close back up. So doing his teammate a big favour here as well is the pole sitter. Coming out of the Parabolica then. Let's see what Maggio has in his locker DRS-wise. With push to pass as well. Gaining. Is he gaining enough? I think he is, but he's going to have to go the long way round, side by side, once again down into turn 1. Bit of contact once again between the pair, but Maggio's muscled his way through. Both of them almost sideways on the exit. Laho's on the grass, Maggio's on the outside. That is superb racing from Alessandro Maggio to get into the lead. Alex Laho's not taking no for an answer though. He gets to the inside this time for turn number 3, almost touching the pair of them. And this time, Alessandro Maggio gets to the lead of the race. Laho has a look down into Lesmo. That's not a place you often see a move, and indeed he does back out. So then, Carlos, we've got a race in our hands.
Yes, I mean, it's very clear what Maggio is trying to do. He's trying to bring Herlock to the equation as he tries going for the move here. Touches a bit of grass. They're heading side by side going to Ascari. I don't think this is the best place to actually do shenanigans, both guys. I think it's very clear the strategy for both of them. Herlock is there already. They lost a lot of time. This is ideal for Ballet. He did what he had to do. I just mentioned it 3 laps ago. And this is game on. The issue is, if you are Alex Laho, if you cannot pull the overtake, just remember there is still 18 laps to go. As they go heading into turn 1, Alex is gonna try it. He's definitely gonna try it, but hold up on Joseph because he might take the position as well now. He's clearly ahead going into turn 1. Brakes really late. Alessandro Maggio, really nice fight. They touch slightly. They go heading into turn 3 to Curva Grande. Then Maggio is ahead. I think he's gonna take now the slipstream from Maggio and going for another attack. But this is not helping Alex chances. They go side by side, turn 4 and 5, and Joseph is there. Right now, Joseph is the best ally Maggio can have, because right now, if I was Joseph, just launch random attacks. Just force Alex to use the tires. Just force Alex to use the push to pass, because this is the only way you can make the race on. This is the only way. Also, Maggio is pushing right now the tires. Let's remember, even if those are hard tires, the thermal wear will kick in, and if it kicks in, race is over. Doesn't matter if you're on hard tires, doesn't matter if you're on medium tires. Thermal deck, it's over. Let's remember one thing, if they keep fighting, Sandeep is 5 seconds behind. So now Bale needs to enter like in a peaceful mode, whereas maybe now the interest of fighting is on Alex. It's just like, okay, you want to fight? Let's fight. Let me bring my teammate on into this fight. Let's make it 2v2. Let's make it a fair fight, you know? This is maybe the approach they need to do right now. Although, let's see, because if there is no pressure and Maggio can keep the tire wear well, they can keep everything on provisional, I think they can have a really fair chance right now.
This race, as it stands, is playing into Valet Esports' hands wonderfully. It is 2 against 1 in the podium places. They've got the tyre advantage. They're on the harder compound. They're going to be able to go longer, push harder to the latter stages of the race. Well, Alex Laho, he needs to keep an eye on those mediums, and I think already he's started to think about that because he's ceased his attacks on Alessandro Maggio. He's happy now just to sit and play the long game again, hoping maybe that Sandeep Singh comes into play. And that would be the best bet for Alex Laho, would be if his teammate, his team boss, and weirdly enough his main championship rival would turn up and to try and upset the Valet Esports cars. But Singh's in his battle of his own. He's got David Farduk behind, and you can see him at the back of your picture. Going on to lap number 29 as they cross the line this time. And what a race we have been gifted on GPVWC Superlights return. We had a 4-week summer break of destitution and misery as we all sat around at home going, what's the point? There's no GPVWC on anymore. And now it's back and reminding us why we love it so. And I think Laho is definitely in tyre saving mode now. He's doing enough to stay with Maggio, stay ahead of Herlock, but no more. He's not pushing. He's not looking for overtakes as Davide Zanini, new fastest lap of the race, a 1:24.674. That is pretty fast, it must be said, from the Italian. And he's only a couple seconds off the Formula 1 lap record, actually, which was set back in 2004. So done quite a good job there, has Alex Laho. Or has Davide Zanini, should I say. But Alex Laho, yeah, definitely playing the waiting game now. Maggio may be starting to stretch his legs a little bit, pull that gap out a bit more. Bit of breathing room, bit of safety behind him. There's probably been a lot of pressure on his shoulders all evening long. And now, well, the ball is very much in Valet Esports court as they come down onto what Ed Hunter delightfully informed me is called the Parabolica Straight. I think it was Rettifilo Parabolica or something along those lines, named because it goes into the Parabolica. Incredible naming system there from the Italians. Lap 30 then, 15 to go. Alessandro Maggio still leads us here. Laho in second, Joseph Herlock in third. Sandeep Singh, Carlos, is not really gaining at all.
Well, I think it is a slow game right now until the end of the race. There is 14 laps to go, so it's still a slow game. The important thing is to not do any mistakes that can make your tire just let you down at any point. So I think Bale right now is in a great spot. I wouldn't slip it on Sandeep. He has had the best tire management through the whole season, and now if Alex is just in this position, we don't really know if he is not able to pull more pace or if he is just relaxing the tires a bit and looking towards the end of the race. This is the mystery that we have right now that unfolds until the very end of the race. I've been checking the lap times from Sandeep, and he is slightly faster than the guys in front in general terms. It will depend on how they get till the end, but it's rather really interesting because this will be either a Bale 1-2 or it will be, I think, an Alex Laho win. So far it looks like it will be more on the Bale side. For the rest of the race we can see that the group has been teared apart. We see a lot of drivers that are actually driving on their own, that we see Vincent Gott, Sikora being teared apart, also Oliver Taras also driving alone in P8, Wasserman in P9, and Zanini, who is the current fastest lap of the race, as you mentioned a few seconds ago, is running in P10. So it is an interesting thing, and Dragoon is also building also positions. He's currently in P14, just right behind Kutka. Maybe he can sneak top 10 from the starting from the pits, which is always difficult. He is already ahead of Kutka in P13, and he maybe is looking for a top 10 finish. I think it is 9 seconds behind, as we see David Yunt actually going on the attack on Chris Gitsov. So good on David. Now heading into P17, just 2 positions shy of the earning points places, which is the ultimate goal for the teams here in Superlights. These points are really important towards next year. It will determine the budget that the teams will have next season. So every point counts here in GPVWC Superlights. Therefore, that's why we saw very interesting fights. Now we see Faidok really close to Sandeep Singh. I wonder if he really has a bit more. He closes the DRS, so he acknowledges that in order to catch up the front, he needs to not fight Sandeep right now. And maybe he has a tiny bit more pace than what Sandeep does have right now. And maybe he does an attack a bit later into the stint. Let's remember here, the power, so powerful is the, as we see, fastest lap from Jan Dragon, 124.6. Also an extra point for the fastest lap, and extra money for the teams also for the fastest lap. And maybe Faidok is just keeping everything cool and launch a really late race attack into Sandeep. As we see, everything it's in a bit of calm way right now. I think Bale acknowledged that fighting right now Lehu is maybe bringing Sandeep into the formula, and maybe they don't want that to happen. So they are just relaxed. Ooh, I see Sandeep it's struggling there with the rear end of the car, and it's still a long way to go, 12 laps to go. So maybe Harlock has the upper hand here on the road to Formula Team Boss. And yes, you guys can take a shot. We just said it, the road to Formula Team Boss.
On board with David Faidok as he chases down Sandeep Singh, heading down the main straight, and that looks to be a really, really good run. Push to pass being activated, 330 kilometers an hour, says the speedo. And Faidok up into P4, so the hopes, dreams further crushed as his only real chance of help drops backwards. Sandeep Singh back down into P5. With only a handful of laps left to run now, 11 on the ticker. There is Alex Laho fighting with Majo once again. So the leaders back to scrapping, and Alex Laho's gone on by. So the Frenchman now back into the lead with a nice little move. I don't know whether it was an actual fight between himself and Majo, or if Majo made an error somewhere. But it is now advantage to Alex Laho on board with Joseph Herlock. And, well, I think team orders might be in play there from Valet Esports. Herlock did not try and make an attacking move down into Ascari, but also possibly knowing that, you know, they're in it together. There's no point both of the valets fighting when they can both be fighting Alex Laho up in front now. So this could be interesting. Again, the yellow Italian cars, they have the tyre advantage. They're on the harder compound. They'll be able to push on harder later in the race. Alex Laho is on the mediums and, well, was seemingly in tyre conservation mode for the last kind of 6 or 7 laps, it would seem. So interesting to see what's going to happen there, but he's settled into the race lead, and Maggio not making an attack yet, so just sticking with the race leader, the championship leader. The Frenchman looking to upset the party on Italian soil. Maggio pushing very, very, very hard, it must be said. As you can see from the onboard, lots of movement from that car. Jan Dragoon, new fastest lap, 124.516. The Czech driver currently in, if I can find him, there he is, P12. Obviously made his pit stop for Drake Racing, and he's got about 10 laps to try and get as many places as he can to complete his recovery drive after starting from the pit lane. What a drive it has been already so far. He was briefly in the podium places during the pit stop cycles. Herlock pushing onwards then. And just biding his time, waiting to see what his teammate is going to do. Waiting to see what Alex Lahoe is going to do. David Feiduck, meanwhile, started to bridge the gap ever so slightly. It's now 3.7 seconds. I wonder if Feiduck maybe has the pace to try and push his way forward. Maybe has the pace to try and work onwards. With 10 laps left here at the 12th round of the 2024 GPVWC Superlights season here at Monza. And it is getting tense out there. 10 to go, top 3. You couldn't fit a cigarette paper between them. Any single error, any misjudgment, and you will be finding yourself out of contention for the race win. You got your championship leader.
Last lap. He's won 3/10 last lap and 4/10 the previous one, so he's gaining a fair bit. Feiduck into the leading group is an average of 3.5 tenths in the last 2 laps. I don't think that will be enough, because considering the gap is 4 seconds right now, but it is considerable, because if Bale starts the fight that they will need to do with Alex to win the race, then the gap is going to shrink pretty fast and they will be there very, very, very soon. So if Bale wants to do it, they need to do it really clean, as we see Tom van der Voort going for the fastest lap, 1:24.0. He needs to do it really clean, because otherwise you put into the mix David Feiduck, which he's been clinical in, as you were mentioning. You notice it really well. And he's been clinical these past laps. So if Bale wants to win this, they really need to do it in the most clean way. Otherwise, they put in danger their own podium expectations.
We'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold. The championship leader not facing any attacks since he's gotten back into the race lead. So maybe Maggio and Herlock once again playing the waiting game, but Herlock has dropped back just a little bit. I think a small mistake, maybe. But he's still in DRS range, still very much in this fight for the lead. Of course, Maggio will be hoping to take victory on home soil. And, well, we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to come and get that one. He would be our 5th different race winner in 2024. His first race win of the season, of course. And Maggio, well, he's unlucky, I think it's safe to say. We know what he can do on the racetrack. But 3 DNFs this season, all from internet-related issues. A best finish of P5. And now here he is, fighting for a victory in GPVWC Superlights. That is something that never goes away on your CV. But it must be said, Alex Lahoe is a formidable opponent and leading the way as it stands. Can Maggio find the gap? Can he find the way through? Or has Lahoe managed his tyres to perfection, taking lessons from his teammate last time out at Spa? Maybe the Frenchman might just be able to hold on. Maggio, though, he's starting to push on a bit harder. You saw him get quite close there out of, or coming into the second chicane, it must be said. I wonder if he's just trying to hang back, avoid the dirty air, keep his tyres in the best condition possible. They look okay for this phase. Again, I mean, they're not going to be pretty, but I've seen drivers running on worse in my time before. And he's seemingly not struggling for grip out there as a big puff of dust gets kicked up by Alex Lahoe as he runs over the curb. You can do that now at Ascari, of course, with the new curbs they've put down there. Used to be if you touched a curb at Ascari, you get launched into the air and then probably into the wall and then probably into hospital. But they've decided to make the corner that bit more aggressive, that bit quicker, to try and entice some more racing. Lap 38 then. Crunch time now. Fidok, his charge has been stalled. 4 seconds away is the Brit, Sandeep Singh just behind him. The front three still covered by 0.7 of a second as they cross the line. At what point, Carlos, do you think that Maggio's got to start going for it? You know, time's running out. He's got to go, well, he's got to start thinking about making the move very, very soon.
I mean, I think if I were him, I would wait until there is 3-4 laps to go, because, well, you also want your teammate to actually have a go and to actually attack him. Unless you see he's really slow right now, that he's really dropping out, you still want to keep there, just not doing anything weird. If I were Alex, I think the best chance he can have is actually pulling a bit of a Nico Rosberg, like he did in Lewis Hamilton into Nico Rosberg in 2016 in Abu Dhabi. You actually want to play a bit these games, although he's trying to cut the slipstream. I think maybe he's really starting to feel those medium tires right now, and therefore maybe he's afraid that if Maggio makes it, he's not able to get it back. But I think the best thing is to communicate with your teammate Joseph, and to be sure if you do an attack, he can do an attack just right after you. So definitely you can actually even create a DRS gap that you can actually pull away and be safe in P1, and then fight him for the P2. But I think from a Bale's POV, the race victory is the most important thing. You don't want a P2, you don't want a P3, you actually really want to win. They've been waiting for this for really long. As we see Joseph, I think he lost DRS right now. This is massive for the race candidate. Wow, I think they lost it. Joseph lost it.
I mean, he was dropping back a little bit lap by lap, and I wonder if maybe there is an error or something that's just taken him outside of DRS range. We can see that Maggio is starting to push Alex Laho. So those two are going to start fighting very quickly. Herlock's already back in DRS range. David Fidok only 3.2 seconds away. He's starting to catch them once again. So interesting. We are being served up. A dramatic conclusion to the 12th round of the 2024 GPVWC Superlights. And with 5 laps to go, it is anyone's guess who will be on top here in Italy. Alex Laho, your championship leader, looking for yet another race win this season. Alessandro Maggio on home soil, looking to take his first Superlights win. Joseph Herlock looking to do similar as well. Valley Esports have looked so brilliant all a weekend long, or evening long. Can they get it done, or will Alex Laho be taking his 6th race win of the season? Only time will tell. And lap 40 of 44. Laho, you can tell, is starting to push now. He's starting to pull away from Maggio a little bit. Maggio starting to slide the car around a bit in the mid-corner. Starting just to run out that immediate grip. And that's okay. Maggio's a driver who likes the car to move around quite a lot underneath him, so that's not all doom and gloom. We're quite used to seeing, they call him the Magic Man for a reason, and part of that reason is because you wonder how the car stays on the black stuff the amount of times it kind of looks like it wants to point sideways. So it should be very, very interesting to see how it all is going to unfold as we go on to lap number 41. Maggio will need to start using his push to pass because he's dropped quite a little way back, actually. David Fidok's dropped off big time. Him and Sandeep Singh have obviously gone too deep into a corner somewhere. That fight is now 3.5 seconds back. Maggio looks very good on the brakes down into turn 1. That could be the move, Carlos. I mean, it's the easiest overtaking point on the track. The only problem is it's also a long way around to hold on to the race lead. So Maggio's probably now weighing up his options, Carlos, to decide where he's going to go.
I think it's the moment to actually pull it. I think maybe Maggio just backed out a bit so Joseph could have DRS again. maybe it's one of the chances. And then Sandeep right now, I think he acknowledged that the podium positions are not possible unless some shenanigans actually happen, and they are waiting for the shenanigans to happen. But he will need to prioritize these before to keep his personal championship aspirations alive. So yeah, Vale has to start thinking on putting some real pressure on Alex. The question is, do they have what it needs them to actually pull it? Maggio is quite close. He's 3.7 tenths behind Alex, so that's, I would say, within attack range, although he's losing a bit in Parabolica. So I'm not sure if Vale's tires are actually in condition to actually pull the move, or Alex is just managing the gap with a push to pass. Anything can be right now, as we see Sandeep making a small look. So we see Oliver Taras going behind David Wasserman right now, going maybe for a move into turn one. He goes for the inside, breaks deep into turn one, and David Wasserman cannot do anything to protect it. Oliver Taras on the hard compound, whereas Wasserman is on the medium compound, and he opened already a really big gap. So I expect him to keep this 8th place until the very end. Let's see if it's the same case scenario for the Vale cars in P2 and P3, with these hard compounds maybe, just maybe, lasting way better than the mediums. He is really close right now. I think he wants Alex to actually feel the pressure. We both know how it ended at Silverstone with the contact in the last braking zone of the track. Surely Maggio doesn't want to repeat that. Surely he wants also to take the P1 home in his home soil, and there is no better chance than what he has had during this race. Opens DRS right now, closing in. It will not be enough for this gap to actually pull an attempt, just showing himself, and Alex not reacting to it, whereas we see Sandeep Singh going for the move right now, just within 2 laps to go. This is the moments you actually want to try to pull the overtake if you have a lot of push to pass, because if you feel confident with the amount of push to pass you have, you will be able to have a chance to defend this position. Maggio will only have next lap to actually try to do an overtake on Alex Lehoux. So it will be a bit difficult for Vale to actually pull the 1-2. There is still a chance that it is not over yet, because if Alessandro is aggressive and does it with determination, he will have the chance. Ross, drive us to the last lap.
Here we go then. Coming out of Ascari, it has been 43 laps with your heart in your mouth. And especially if your name is Alessandro Maggio. Now it is 1 lap to go to decide who takes victory. Is it win number 6 in 2024 for championship leader Alex Lehoux? Or can Alessandro Maggio do the impossible on home soil? Let's find out one final time round here at Monza. Maggio already thinking about a look to the inside. Those hard tyres have been stretched to their very limits. Have they got anything left in them as the clouds come over? Coming through Curva Grande, Lehoux. What is running through the Frenchman's mind? Is he feeling the pressure, or is he cool, calm and collected? Maggio once again a look. He just trying to fill the mirrors of the man in front. Gets a bit sideways, getting the throttle down, but wasn't too greedy. Got away with it. Oh, look at the car moving underneath Alessandro Maggio. That's going to cost him a good chunk of time. But you can see how hard he's pushing. You can see how much the Italian wants it. But is there enough time left? Ascari and Parabolica to go. The final DRS section. Not close enough into Ascari. There's a yellow flag out at Sector 2. But for these boys, there is 1 turn left. As they rocket down the back straight, Parabolica, Michele Alboreto corner looms. Alessandro Maggio tried as hard as he did. but it's gonna be Le Marseillaise that blares around Monza. Alex Laho breaks Italian hearts and is a race winner for the 6th time in 2024. A valiant effort from the Valle Esports squad, but that Frenchman is just too good once again. Alex Laho, yet another race win in 2024 in GPVWC Superlights. One that he probably had to work the hardest for in a real game of cat and mouse up the front, as we see Chris Gitsov getting involved with Remco de Joux before they get to the checkered flag. Both of them will be able to keep going. And it will be de Joux that will take P17 after they come together at Ascari. But Alex Laho ultimately once again on top here in Monza. His 6th win of the year. What happened with Remco de Joux and Chris Gitsov? Chris Gitsov knew he had to make the move at the death. De Joux just turned in and there's a race car in the way, unfortunately. They will be able to continue onwards. Oliver Taras, this is another replay, this is another replay. So what happened to Oliver Taras? Oh, he lost it! That's a very strange way to lose it. A lazy spin in a straight line. Bizarre for Oliver Taras. He dropped down to P10. As Alex Laho nearly wipes out his teammate in celebration. Carlos Martin, once again, that Frenchman is on top in 2024.
Yeah, well, he's had an amazing season so far. He's been clutch whenever he had to be it. I think the only two buts you can say from Alex are Suzuka and obviously Silverstone. But for the rest of the season, he's been magnificent. He has done great job, a superb form. This is exactly what he lacked the last season in FS1, and he is demonstrating to the GPVWC world that he is Super League material, and it will be a menace whenever he moves to Super League next season.
There were lots of doubts surrounding that man when he was announced at Road to Formula at the start of the year. People thinking he didn't have it, didn't have the ability, the pace, didn't have the consistency, certainly. But it was a long winter, and the Frenchman has made 2024 his own. Extends his championship lead considerably as well, as his main rivals struggle or DNF. Alex Laho, what a win that was for him. It was Alex Laho who took victory here in Monza after a fantastic battle. Alessandro Maggio will be heartbroken in P2. We'll speak to him in a moment, but he can be proud, putting in his best result of the season. Joseph Hurlock rounds out a double Valle Esports podium. Although it's not the race win on home soil that the team would have wanted, it is still podium places. Sandeep Singh ultimately got into P4 ahead of David Fidok. Jan Sakura was 6th with Vincent Gutt in P7. David Wasserman 8th. Jan Dragoon, incredible stuff there to recover to P9 from a pit lane start. Oliver Taras, of course, that late split demoted him down into P10. Further down, it's Davide Zanini who starts in P11, or finishes in P11, should I say. Dominic Koroshavin was 12th with Maxime Bulio in 13th. Thomas Kutka in 14th, with David Yoon in 15th. Tom van der Voort was 16th. Remco de Joux 17th. Chris Gitsov P18. Perjas Miram was P19, a lap down, and the last of our runners. We lost Matthews Pishkan, unfortunately, through a disconnect. And we had a few other DNFs as well. Those, of course, being Dennis Urban and Jack Mayer very early on. What a race then, Carlos. And, well, once again, Alex Laho proving the doubters wrong.
Yeah, well, he's been the best driver of this season for a reason. He has had amazing performances so far, and this shows how mature he has become this season. Being calm and collected when he needed to, being clutch, being precise with the moves, because the moves with Maggio, they were really close to having contacts, and they were both on the edge. So that really shows up how much of a growth he has had as a driver and as a person during this year. The pace was there. I think nobody questioned that from Alex. I think the rest came it together this season.
Absolutely. What a fantastic race for GPVWC Superlights to return with as we get into the dying days of the championship this year. First of all, let's speak to the man of the moment, Alessandro Maggio. Pole position. The race win, unfortunately, wasn't to be, but it's your best result of the year. You've got to be pretty happy with how that race went.
Absolutely. I think after everything I've gone through this season, this is by far my best race of the year. So I'm very happy with how it went, even though I lost the win by just half a second. But I'm satisfied. I got pole position, which is what I was preparing for the last 3 weeks, basically, as you could have seen from the lap. So I'm happy to finish P2. Congrats to Alex, and thank you.
I mean, it was an incredible evening for you in general. I mean, that pole lap is going to be talked about for generations. Talk us through what was going on there at the death. What a lap time that was.
Yeah, I knew that my previous lap was already pretty good. And going through turn 1, I saw the green delta, and I thought, okay, this is the lap. I don't have to screw it up now. And going through the second chicane, through the Lesmos, I could just see the delta going down and down and thinking, this is the lap. This is going to give me pole position. And when I approached Parabolica, I don't know if you saw, but I was literally on the limit of losing it, even on the white line. But as soon as I recovered it and saw the delta, I was like, yes, this is actually, that was my PB, which is insane because my PB was like a one-off lap that I did in the whole 3 weeks. So yeah, it was absolutely magical.
And well, I mean, again, your best result of the season, even though if it wasn't the win that you may quite have wanted, your first podium of the year as well, if memory serves me correct. So are we going to see some more performances like that across the back end of the year?
Hopefully. I mean, that's what I've been aiming for the whole season. So to finally be here and actually achieve some of it is already quite nice. So let's try to end the year on a high.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Alessandro. A fantastic race for you, a fantastic result. And, well, you've done the country of Italy proud, I think it is safe to say.
Thank you very much.
Alessandro, congratulations for the race victory. The race victory. Oh, I'm spoiling next Grand Prix. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I wanted to personally congratulate you because we're good. We're good friends. I would like to say we get along really well, and I saw you some months ago in your home soil, I would say as well. So I'm very happy for you. You did a great management of the race. So I encourage you to keep trying hard and to keep your chin up, because you can achieve really good things in the remaining races of the season. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Carlos.
All right, so we've got time for from Alessandro Maggio. Unfortunately, P2 and pole sitter on home soil. Let's speak to our race winner, though. Let's pull in Alex Laho, his 6th win of the season. And Alex, you really had to work hard for that one. Talk us through it.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Why 1v2, man? What? I'm still shaking a bit because 44 laps under immense pressure.
Absolutely.
Quali, I wasn't able to make the most of it. I had a moment in sector 2. Ascari wasn't good either, and he pulled the lap of life anyway, so he won for him. And it's on Grand Prix. And as for the race, meh start. I had too much wheel spin on the start. Still kept it P2 though. Nice little battle on lap 12 or 13 for the lead. Then he decided to pit for the hards, which I didn't understand at the time because I thought the mediums were actually pretty clear of the hards. But then when the final laps actually came around, I knew why he was playing the long game. Almost worked. Yeah, there was also a little bit of Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Abu Dhabi momento. He backed me up into Joseph, who was like 2.5 seconds behind. I hope that Joseph gets past me and I can't do anything, which didn't work. I managed to drive my way around. He made a mistake coming into the second chicane and I was able to make the most of it. That was pretty much it, making 0 mistakes, otherwise dead. And a good exit on Parabolica, and that was it.
How much push to pass did you have before the last lap, Alex?
18.
18?
Yeah.
Or 80?
18.
18. Okay, so you were sweating a bit in the last
in the
lap.
final
You
laps.
had enough.
Yeah. I was definitely sweating. I had 45 laps, like 4 laps to the end.
Yeah. Well, you did an amazing job. You've improved a lot compared to last year. Tell us about it. What did it change between this year and last year that this year you are able to achieve the results that clearly on pace you are able to demonstrate to everyone, and what happened last year compared to this year? What did it change?
Well, basically more practice with the boys during the preseason testing. Then I realized something that, being quick in quali isn't everything. You need to not make any mistakes. That's one of the keys to stay quick. Pretty much have good pace, good tires, because if you make mistakes, you're gonna wheel spin, you're gonna understeer, blah blah blah. You're just gonna miss the corners. And you need to make up for it with the car and the tires. So, yeah, just making 0 mistakes was my priority for the preseason. And yeah, I'm putting it into application for this season. Works out, I guess.
Well, we also, where did you put it in quali after the last attempt? You put it in your natural habitat in the wall.
Yeah. GPVWC 2023 Formula Sprint 1 NASCAR. Oh no! But great job to the guys. It was a 1v2, but it was fair for the most part. They have the right to back me up into their teammate. It's like their right, as long as they do it legally and not slow me down, slow the guy too much in the process, or do dirty moves. Yeah, it was pretty much hard racing, but it was really good racing for me. So congrats to the Valley boys. Unfortunately, I won at their home Grand Prix. I feel bad for them, actually. Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you for the interview and good luck for the upcoming races.
Thank you, guys. Now I have to wake up at 2:45 a.m.
Don't cry.
Well, that was Alex Laho then for you.
Yeah, Alex Leho moment. Who are we bringing into the
why
next
don't you
interview?
choose, Carlos? I chose there's a few people waiting, and I chose the last one. So why don't you choose?
Why do we have to choose? Well, let's choose both Sandeep and Faidok. Let's go first with P4 with Sandeep. Hello, Sandeep. Can you hear us?
Oh no, I'm interviewing Maggio. You got P2. Okay,
No, Maggio, we already did the interview to Maggio.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, tell us about your race. How did it go? Was it something unexpected that Bale went for the hard tire, or was it something that it was maybe in your mind during the possibilities for the race?
Nah, they equal the hards and mediums, but we just prefer the balance on the mediums, so that's why we stuck with it. And we know they're a little bit harder on tires, so it made sense they went onto the hards.
Mm-hmm. And considering you started in P10, how does this P4 feel to you right now?
It's alright. I need to have a look at why the balance was on and off in the race. Some laps it felt what I had in practice, and there's a few laps where it just felt like it's like driving on ice or something. It was strange.
Was it maybe the temperatures of the track maybe a bit higher than what you expected, and that's maybe the reason?
No, because we tested on higher.
Okay. Well, and how do you face the upcoming races of the championship? There is still 4 races to go. Championships is still on a go, and you know anything can happen in the upcoming races. There is Baku coming next. So what are you expecting from the end of the season as we are heading into the last 4 rounds?
Hopefully we wrap up. Hopefully we can win constructors in Baku. That'll be the main thing. So we're looking forward to that. And then
148 points gap you need for that, I think. Was it?
Nah, it should be like 50.
Is it? It is 45 maximum points. It's 46 you can do maximum, because if you count the fastest lap.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
46 times 3, that makes 148. No, wait, hold up. I'm tripping. No, that's 138, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Let's see what happens. I do have a new engine for Baku. I took an old one for Monza because I don't like Monza.
did you feel that was something you lacked during the race or during qualifying? The new engine?
No. I just lack. Some reason I lack balance in qualifying. That's got nothing to do with the engine.
Mm-hmm. Well, just more quality practice like Alex was doing last year. Maybe Alex learned from you this year. Maybe you can learn a bit more from Alex as well.
I did as much quality laps as he did. That's the thing.
0.
No. We did a lot. We can send you
Oh,
the
really?
server log.
Oh, well, I can check that by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandeep, thank you for the interview. Unless Ross has anything to say or hold you hostage.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I swore at you in the DMs.
No worries.
Yeah.
Oh, disgraceful behaviour. Yeah,
I just
thanks,
said
Sandeep.
Nah,
It's all right. He's forgiven. I'm sure it's all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
We'll just cuddle later. It's fine.
Thank you
me
very
really well.
much. Thank you very much, Sandeep Singh, for the interview. I know we said that we would. No, we didn't. I'm getting my people mixed up. Let's bring David Firedock in and chat to David very quickly. David, a strong race for you. Got pipped at the line, unfortunately, by Sandeep Singh, but overall, I think you can be pretty happy coming away from that one.
Yeah, let Sandeep have that. No, yeah, really happy with that one. After the last 2 races, 2 really poor performances from me. Yeah, a couple of attempts off my PB quali, which would have got me P3. But yeah, race is the most important. That's where I go well. And sadly, Jack's disconnect pulled me out of the DRS train. Yeah, which cost me a few seconds first stint and a couple of seconds last stint. But yeah, even without the DRS train, I think I was matching their pace. So yeah, a little bit better tyre wear at the end of the last stint would have been handy. But yeah, it was a good race. Just got it was definitely a podium loss there.
Yeah, but obviously it's a shame, that you had to get dropped out of the DRS train with Jack's disconnect, and then obviously it's just a struggle from there, I suppose. But still, you made the most of it, and a very strong finish at the end of the race, points wise. Baku next time though, on the 24th of September. What's the game plan going into that one?
Game plans always win. It just never works. No, I think we should be a bit better there. The tighter, twistier tracks we seem to be going well at. Probably more setup dependent. Our setup's more for that. So yeah, and I like going around that track. It's full on focus and it brings the best out of a driver. So I won't jinx myself and crash into the castle section now. But yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Hello, David. I have a really special question for you. Sorry for jumping, Ross, if you don't mind. Regarding It's a bit different question. Regarding the car upgrades, the True North is one of the least developed body drag and wing developed cars in the field. Were you feeling maybe this is not the best suiting track for your car before heading into the qualifying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I saw the upgrades from Chris come up on Sunday, yeah, we were really worried. But yeah, our setup really suits the tight corners, like I just said. So we were able to pull back some time there, and we were able to gain some time back with ever settings in the car, which I think we just about equaled out what they call road to formula. I think we were like 1 mile per hour down, so we didn't do too bad there. But, yeah, it was a big challenge, this one. So I think we might be a bit better at Singapore, less straight, so we might be a bit better.
Well, there is still a really, really, really long straight at Baku, and with a good chunk of meaning of body drag and wings. But I'm pretty sure that for Singapore, Austin, and Brazil, your car will be extremely fitting for those really, really tight corners and even some medium speed corners. And so we're really looking into maybe a David Fidok race win at the end of the season. So you just put everything together. And thank you for answering the questions, David.
No worries. Yeah, I'm praying every night for one. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much for speaking to us, David, and a good performance you had there as well.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Yep.
That was David Fidok, and unfortunately, that is all the time that we have this evening. Another fantastic GPVWC Superlights race, and well, Carlos Martin, it was drama the whole way through. I think, yeah, good race that.
I wanted a bit more spice, a bit more.
Carlos Martin is clearly never happy with anything, is he? Thanks very much for joining myself, Ross McIntyre, Carlos Martin, alongside me in the commentary box with Fabian Jungbluth on the cameras for the 12th round of the 2024 GPVWC Superlights season. Of course, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, same place, except slightly different place as we head to round 13, getting down into the last end of the season, and we are going to the Baku Street Circuit. But of course, there's other GPVWC on before then. Thursday, Super League, Monza. We'll see you then.
Bye.